right. Bismillah, salatu wassalam, ala rasulillah. So just to recap one more time, I know we kind of beat up the slide a little bit, but essentially our best option, inshallah, is going to be to drive. Even if you calculate how early, if you did buy a domestic flight, how early you have to get to the airport, the flight time, and then how much earlier you're going to get to the airport, it still weighs out to be better to drive up, inshallah. Let's see.
Do you know how early you can check in? Because some airlines don't allow you to check in like 3 hours, more than 3 hours ahead of time and stuff like that. So if you do get there early, do you have the option to check in early, or maybe if you can find out?
Yeah, I want to find out. I'm not sure if Saudi Airlines has American Airlines where you could check in 24 hours before.
No.
They
Any international, you got to be there.
No, I don't. Yeah, 24 hours is okay, but it's like if I get there 5 hours early, if I just leave early just to account for traffic, etc. Delays, and then I get there 5 hours early, I don't want to be carrying my bags around with me, right? So easier to just check in.
Yeah, I'll make note of that, inshallah, and follow up to see how early we can check in.
Yeah.
So we will not do group check-in. We will just go there and do our own check-in?
Yeah, so everybody has, the ticket is already in your name. So when you go to the counter, you give them the passport, they'll pull your name up.
Okay.
And I'm also going to send you your confirmation from the airlines, but we all have our tickets in our names, alhamdulillah, so we already have that. So I'll just find out.
And so once we get to the gate, obviously,
We'll find.
we'll all collect.
One of the things I was saying before we left was regarding the passports. So initially the passports were, I was told, 2 to 3 weeks, but because we're in the month of Sha'ban, right before Ramadan, yeah. So because of the Ramadan coming up, they want to be more strict with allowing people to get their visas early. For some reason, they think it correlates with us staying longer than we're supposed to, right? So what they do is they give you the visa 15 days before your travel, and it expires 15 days once you get there. So that way they can make sure that we leave before Ramadan comes in, right? So the passports have already been sent, but we probably won't get them back until like the first week of April or so. And obviously I'll keep everybody updated on that. But
That's 1 week, just so you know.
yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
made it seem like it's a long time.
towards the end of the first week of April, yeah, inshallah.
Okay.
So I'll keep you guys updated with that.
So if you wanted to wait to buy the plane ticket, it'll be too late by then. I think it'll be, probably should buy it now.
If you're gonna buy a plane ticket, you should do it today.
Yeah, you should probably do it today. And then also one thing that's not related to this, but for those of you that may be thinking about doing Umrah in the future, like within the next year or two, the Saudi government requires like an extra fee, just because they want to limit the amount of Umrahs that you do. They don't want you to do more than one every 2 years. So just if you want to fly, if you want to go to Umrah again next year, just don't be surprised. I think it's like a $500 fee or something like that.
535.
$535.
I'm paying.
We have one person who's paying. I didn't want to call her out, but she's paying it. It was a surprise. Same thing for Hajj. If you do Hajj year after year, they'll charge you that as well. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you do want to do Umrah again. And the only way around that is if you get a new passport, because they track it by your passport number.
Is
So if
this
you're
additional
actually-
charge only for the traveler who is from United States or from globally any country?
Any country.
This
As long as you have the same passport, you'll still get the fee.
No, but anywhere,
Yeah.
it's
anywhere
not
in
just
the
us.
world.
Yeah. Alright. So this is our flight to Medina. So as you can see, we depart from Dallas at 5 p.m. inshallah. We have a layover in Riyadh, which is also in Saudi Arabia. It's about like an 8-hour drive or something like that, or 6 hours from Riyadh to Medina driving. But alhamdulillah, we're going to be flying directly into Medina. And we do have a little bit of a lengthy layover there in Riyadh, which is about 6 hours and 45 minutes. So inshallah, we'll plan to make use of that time. But this was the only flight available to go straight to Medina. The other option would have been to fly into Jeddah and then take a bus, which could be a 7-hour journey in and of itself, getting the bags out. So we figured this would be the best option and the most cost effective as well. So inshallah, we should be landing in Medina at right around 8:30 p.m. I think it'll be past Isha time, but we're still gonna be able to go to the masjid inshallah and, go check out the Rawda, go, make salat while we're there. So this is on Sunday. So, is it Sunday? Yeah, we leave here Saturday, we land there Sunday night, because you lose a day when you travel that way in the world.
You're going to email the itinerary to everyone?
Yes, I'll email it. I've sent this in the WhatsApp group, but I'll send it again inshallah.
Just a reminder, if you're not on the WhatsApp group, we need to make sure we're on the WhatsApp group before we leave here today.
I think everybody except for Tracy's in it, right? Huh. Oh, and you. Yeah. Sorry. All right. So that was our flight there. Our flight back is much easier. It's a direct flight from Jeddah, which is about 2 hours outside of Mecca. And it'll bring us right back to Dulles International. We should be here about 12 p.m., 12:20 p.m. What you'll notice is it's an early morning flight. So I'll talk a little bit about it later. But because it's early morning, then obviously we have to get there several hours beforehand. So I'll talk about what time we'll plan to leave, what time the buses will come, and all that good stuff. So any questions on the flights or
Yes.
travel?
So,
Yes.
how long is the drive from Medina Airport to our hotel?
Not long. I think about maybe
It's
20
a-
20 minutes.
It's just like
minutes
here.
drive.
Again, and this one? To Jeddah?
2 hours.
No, it's not 2 hours. It's almost an hour actually.
No,
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
hotel.
I guess just calculating for traffic. I'd rather tell them 2 hours and it turns out to be 1 hour.
He's doing that, yeah. We talked about this before, so
Yeah.
Setting expectations.
2 hours inshallah. He's being a good guy. He's compensating for potential problems, and then you'll always say, "Oh, mashallah, it only took this much. What a great job! Look what you did."
Is there seat assignments, do we have those seat assignments already?
I don't have the seat assignments already now.
Okay, so that hasn't been assigned.
They just have your ticket number and your name, but they haven't assigned seats for some reason. But I want to assume that we're going to sit beside each other, so I think we'll have the flexibility. If someone gets placed somewhere else, we can kind of move around. One of the nice things with flying on Saudi, who here's flown Saudi before? Nobody? Nobody's flown Saudi Airlines? Okay. So they actually have like a mini musalla in the back. They've dedicated like 8 seats that they could have sold to be a little musalla, mashallah.
Yeah, the Etihad has it's maybe 1 row, but you can go 1 at a time, 2 at a time maybe.
Yeah,
So this one's like more than that.
more than that. Yeah, I think at least two or three rows. Yeah. So it's different. It's not like praying on the ground, but it's a good experience.
And just that's because I'm bringing the kids about like entertainment on the plane. Do they have like things in the
Oh,
TVs and
Oh yeah, yeah.
they'll have stuff they can
Yep. They
watch
have
in
it
English or?
right here.
Can you-
They've got on-demand video,
Oh,
in-seat
okay.
power.
Okay.
There's Wi-Fi obviously, but you'd have
We'll
to
just have to pay for that.
pay for it, I think. So we're switching presentations. Imam Yahya went through the whole presentation and made the font bigger, so everybody could see it, mashallah.
He put it on like some 12 font.
So I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but what about connectivity in Saudi Arabia? So because of course we have Wi-Fi in the hotels, but outside, what do we do? Can we buy SIM cards, prepaid, etc.?
Yeah, so if you have an unlocked phone, you can buy a local SIM card there. It's pretty cheap. I can look into the exact price, but it's pretty cheap. You can just buy a SIM card. Just make sure your phone is unlocked for international use, and you could plug that in, and you should be able to get Wi-Fi everywhere. But our hotels do include Wi-Fi. But if you do want to roam around and have internet wherever you go, if you want to Snapchat while we're there, you can do that, inshallah.
I think if you have T-Mobile, I checked because I have T-Mobile, you have like a free internet there. So you can just keep your same phone number, but I think it'll cost you to do the calls, but if your Wi-Fi is free. So text messages are free too, so you probably use WhatsApp easily.
T-Mobile?
Yeah, T-Mobile covers Saudi Arabia also, I checked. It's free.
Perfect. So if anybody has T-Mobile, then you are golden.
Good for
Yeah, that's why I didn't change it. I was keeping it for that. It was when you do
Yep, there it
international,
is.
you can text message and WhatsApp. At least that's what the website said, so.
It's good.
Yeah, you can see this is 17. There was going to be no way of ever saying, oh yeah, go ahead to it.
Switch your displays.
Well, both displays are the same right now. So let's do this.
Yeah, go up.
Yeah, when you say slideshow, it can tell it where to go. So go to slideshow and
Uh-oh, we went out.
It should come. Slideshow,
It's menu.
monitor. I'll do monitor LG2. And then shall present. There it is.
Yes, Saddam, look at this guy.
Good.
That's because we both have the Lenovo.
Yeah.
Okay, we did that.
So here is our detailed itinerary, day by day. So, obviously, like I said, we're going to arrive in Medina Airport at about 8:30. So once we arrive there, we're going to go straight through customs. Your immunization record, when I give you your passport back, it's going to have the immunization record stapled inside. So just keep that in there because you're going to need it when we go through customs over there. Then they're going to stamp our visa and then kind of let us go through to the luggage area to pick up our bags. And then after we grab the bags, we're all going to group together. And then we're going to walk to go find our bus. So we're going to have a dedicated bus kind of well, actually not to Manish Point, but we're going to have buses pretty much drive us around everywhere over there. So from the airport to our hotel, from our hotel to go do sightseeing, from Medina to Mecca to do our Umrah. While we're in Mecca, we're also going to have a bus take us to do sightseeing there. And then lastly, we're going to have a bus take us from the hotel back to the airport, inshallah. And also, just so you know, I'm going to send all of this to everybody, so that way you have all these details. The hotel that we're staying at is Grand Mercure Medina, and it's right around the perimeter of the Haram, so you don't have to walk or take a cab. I mean, you don't have to take a cab, you have to walk, obviously, but it's very short distance. One of the things that you'll see kind of come up throughout the presentation here is, just kind of recommendations to tip. Obviously, it's not required, just like here, you go to a restaurant, you tip, but there, like the bus drivers and the workers, normally they have a very, very low wage, so when we can go over there and help them out, it's really nice. So 10 SAR, Saudi Arabian riyals, equates to like $3 or something like that, right? So if at any time you do want to tip the driver, just, you can give that to me or you can give it to the bus driver yourself. That's something that's very nice for us to do, inshallah, even though we shouldn't do individually because it could bombard the driver. We'll try to give them one tip at one time. So this is day one. We're probably going to get there very tired. So we're probably going to go straight to our rooms, maybe relax, go to sleep, so we can wake up early and refreshed for day two.
How long is the bus ride from the airport?
From the airport, I want to say it's about 20, 30 minutes. It's not far.
It's like here.
Huh?
Medina
40
Airport's right.
40? Okay.
Yeah, it's 40.
Yeah, it's not too long.
so it's 1 hour.
Yeah, there you go. We'll go with 1 hour, so give me 5 minutes.
Let me tell you, I have motion sickness problem, that's why I'm asking you.
Oh, we'll have bags, inshallah. So, day two, really wanted this to kind of be a more relaxed day, not intense. So, this is your day, enjoy the masjid. Every day that we're there, we're going to have a free buffet breakfast. They call it breakfast, but I like to think of it like a brunch because it's really, really good food. You can eat it, you can get a lot of it, and you can kind of keep you full through the lunch period. Every time I go there personally, I normally just have that, and then I eat dinner later on at night. It's enough, but you guys will see for yourselves. While we're there, one of the key benefits that you should take advantage of is the rewards. So, who knows how many times the reward is multiplied to pray in the Masjid al-Nabawi in Medina?
100,000.
100,000?
10,000 or 1,000?
2,000.
10,000.
2,000.
10,000.
2,000.
2,000?
No, it's not 2,000.
Who's got it? So, 100,000 where?
In Makkah.
There we go.
This one 1,000.
1,000, mashallah. Yeah, so the reward, each prayer that you pray there is as if you prayed 1,000 prayers. That's how much the reward is multiplied, mashallah.
On that note, how many of you here have got the book that we are selling here at the mosque for prayer? Okay, so you should all get that because I wrote, it's only 70 pages long. It's glossy with pictures, and it really emphasizes the meaning and the spiritual experience in the prayer. So I would encourage everybody to read that book before you go, because I can tell you it will exponentially lift your spiritual experience while you're praying, and help you to understand things in the prayer that seem to be confusing, or why, or what is that about. It will give you the answers that you need. So we have those for sale for $15 here at the mosque. Ghazala can take care of that, or you give her the money. I can get the books for you.
Imam, that's the books that the like ceremonial, they're all using that, right?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yep. So the ladies' circle, we've been studying it now for the last few months. So alhamdulillah.
Let's see. So, also when we get to the hotel, I'll find out. So in the Masjid Nabawi, one of the unique characteristics of the masjid is there's an area, portion of the masjid, called the Rawda. So who can tell me what the Rawda is?
It's like a part of Jannah,
Part of Jannah?
a garden or like a part of Jannah.
Yeah, mashallah, that's good. So it's considered as one of the gardens of Jannah. So you'll notice people are very, they'll fight.
Yes.
It could get really dangerous in there. I remember one time it was so crowded in there, I had to like pray on someone's back for Fajr. So it could get messy, but if you can get it there in a nice, calm time, it's a very rewarding. There is also times that they allow sisters to go. So once we get to the hotel, I'll find out what times the Rawda is open to the sisters, and let you all know. That way you can kind of plan to be there. But I think we should all make it as a goal to try to catch every single salah in the masjid if possible, right?
So you said 1,000 times reward inshallah in the Prophet's mosque, and 100,000 in front of Kaaba.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one, it counts even if you're in the grounds, on the outside of the building, the grounds there, as you're part of the jama'ah there, as you're part of the general precinct, that area, because it can be expanded and it wouldn't be a problem. And just so that we're clear, obviously this is not an actual place in heaven. It's here on earth, and the flaws of the people on earth, exactly as he was talking about. The Prophet, peace be upon him, had mentioned that in my mosque, the angel Gabriel has told me there is a special place between my house and my minbar, or my pulpit where I preach from, that there's a special place to pray that is like, as a encouragement, a garden from the gardens of paradise. So proper Islamic knowledge would say, if there is a whole bunch of people in there wasting my time trying to get in there, or going in there and creating an uncomfortable, lack of focused prayer, is less valuable than to just pray on the outside in a peaceful. So the culture will take you the wrong direction in these things. Same thing with the black stone. If I'm gonna have to fight somebody and all of this, and some guy's gonna be attacking me because I'm, then that's not a big deal, right? So in my humble assessment, if you see that there's an open time and there's a place for you to pray, go. If not, just go pray somewhere else where you get a peaceful experience. And so the pigeons come through there and everything, it's a beautiful place to be in general. So don't get caught up in the Rawda or the black stone, and then you start creating some idea in your mind about priorities that is not really that big of a priority.
And then also for those of you that don't know, our Prophet ﷺ, he's also buried there in the Masjid Nabawi. And so him, and who could tell me who else is buried in that masjid alongside the Prophet ﷺ? Abu Bakr, inshallah.
I was going to say that.
Who's the other one?
She got it. Okay, we'll go to Adam.
Umar ibn Khattab.
Umar ibn Khattab, mashallah. Yeah, so the three of them are buried in where the Prophet ﷺ used to live with Aisha radiallahu anha, and so that's right next to the Rawda. So it's kind of a cool experience to be there, and to send your salat and salam upon the Prophet ﷺ while you're there. Obviously, as Imam just mentioned, you'll kind of see people taking culture to the max and doing things that really aren't a part of Islam, like rubbing the ground and, you know, doing different things that we know is not normal. So we should try to avoid falling into that trap, because it is very easy to do like everyone else there. Like, oh, they're doing that, I could do it too. So let's try to, you know, kind of stick to our roots, inshallah. And if you have any questions, we'll have Imam with us every step of the way, inshallah.
Yeah, just Assalamu alaikum ayyuhan nabi, or Assalamu alaikum o Prophet, you know, that's fine. And the angel will actually experience your prayer at that moment. He will feel this this peace, and that's how he's always surrounded with that. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So, Imam, will you kind of talk a little bit about, like, not right now, but I mean, what's appropriate and what's, you know, just what we should do, like you said, for example, the salam, just other things like that as well?
Yeah, we'll go through a lot of that stuff. I will give a small manual.
Okay.
I will give the spiritual manual. We have the logistic manual. I will bring, actually this last week I was planning on it, but with the New Zealand thing and all of that and all the things that I got pushed into, it pushed my schedule back a
One
bit.
quick question. So the multiplier you talked about, the 1,000 times and 100,000 times, is that only in Jama or is that?
No, anyone,
Oh, all right.
any prayer.
As we said earlier, WhatsApp, inshallah, we'll use WhatsApp heavily while we're there. Sisters, maybe we can have a group for you all to kind of coordinate going together. Same thing for us brothers, and then we'll also have our general group for everybody, inshallah. And then Imam Yahya, inshallah, will be leaving some spirituality development for us every day, inshallah. Whether it's listed on the bullet or not, inshallah, Imam will keep us on our game.
Where we will be having our Jummah prayer, in Medina or Makkah?
In Mecca, inshallah.
Okay.
So on the spirituality, I just wanted to kind of take, there's a few different angles we could go. One of them is to basically break down some significant, profound events in the Prophet's life. Or one of the things that I thought maybe is to take some verses of the Quran and then talk about how the Prophet, peace be upon him, embodied those verses. So talk some small commentary on a verse of the Quran, and then, you know, basically how the Prophet ﷺ lived that. Another idea that came through my mind, that we basically go through all of the 99 names, and we talk about how that relates to us and how that related to the Prophet ﷺ, how he embodied those. So either we can pick and choose from these three, or we can agree on one. It's up to you, you know. So let's take one quick vote. Shall we just mix it up between these three? But in my mind, it will only be the two, because the 99 names would need a focus. You need to focus your whole thing towards that. You know, the descriptions, you know. The Prophet ﷺ said that God has 99 descriptions. Whoever would account for them will go to heaven. And what that means is, to know God is to know the purpose of all existence. To understand the nature of that which is behind everything that goes on and functions and exists. And so therefore, you will be affected by those traits because you have a deep, intimate connection with them. And that's how the Prophet ﷺ was embodied, through his character. So when the Quran describes him, it says, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, that you are on this exalted platform of character. And so that's basically what it is. So basically what I'll do is I'll send out for the sake of time here, we'll send out a vote, you know, like you could do a doodle. That way you don't feel like awkward in front of other people what you think. You know, we'll send out a thing, you just basically pick which one you want to do, and then I will develop a full program in which we will meet twice. We don't want to overload you with this stuff. You need all of this personal time. So just 2 times a day for the whole time. We'll meet as a group and we'll have a special circle of upliftment, inshallah. So I wanted to make it, I'd hope to keep it on a focused curriculum so that we can all, having left there with a very deep, faithful growth, inshallah.
Day 2. So day 3, so this will be Tuesday, after we've had our day of relaxing and going to the masjid and mingling around. So this is going to be a day where, inshallah, we're going to go explore some historic parts of Medina. And so the plan is going to be to leave at 8:30 after breakfast. I want to say breakfast starts at after Fajr, so we can pray Fajr in the masjid, come back, eat. and then we can load onto the buses and kind of go on this sightseeing journey. And the reason we want to leave as early as 8:30 is so we can be back before Salat al-Dhuhr, right? Again, we don't want to sacrifice the reward of praying in Jama'ah there if we can. So inshallah, we'll leave at 8:30, try to be back by 12, inshallah. And we're going to go visit Jabal Uhud, Mount Uhud. We're going to go visit the Quba Masjid and Masjid Qiblatayn. So we're going to go visit those three, inshallah. And we're also going to see if we can visit a date farm. I'm still trying to work that out. But if we can go to like a date farm and get fresh dates and things like that, that'll be good, right?
The real
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. It's a beautiful experience.
Yeah. And then obviously just the customary tip for...
Are we allowed to bring dates with us? Because that
Back
counts
in-
as fruit?
No, you get the package one.
Can't get fresh ones you can't get, right?
They'll package it for you. They'll seal it.
You didn't hear it from me, but some people don't write it.
Yeah.
I came back with a whole bunch of them. Nobody said anything. Actually, I declared it and everything. Is it okay?
Yeah,
There
me
is a
too.
museum.
Yeah, you can bring it back.
in
Yeah,
Medina.
I did it too.
This is a good experience to work. It's right outside
The 99 Names exhibit?
um,
Or the
no,
Quran?
the Museum of Medina.
Oh.
It exhibits the time of prophets, how the houses were, the masjid, the original masjid.
Oh, very
was.
nice. Yeah.
So
we
a
should
lot
do
of
that.
people didn't know.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It's a very good experience.
Maybe I just
It
missed
will
it
take
once.
probably 30 minutes to visit right outside the
Okay, that's good. Yeah, maybe that's something we could do on Monday, right, on our relaxed day. Because yeah, that would be good. There are a lot of things to do around the Haram, right? So this will be the only time when we go on these site visits where we kind of leave that area. But there's a lot. There's shopping. There's doctors if you get sick, subhanallah. There's exhibits, like you just said.
Well, doctors are just pharmacists. Just so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
But just before I forget, as of now, I don't think you probably should get some Crocs. You know, if you didn't get, the Crocs shoe.
Yeah.
And you may have heard somebody say you can't have the one that covers the back. You can have the one that there's no problem. This is many of the ulama have said this is an invented issue. So if you want one that is easier to walk in because it covers the back, as the whole thing is it can't be stitched anything. So Crocs are made by things connecting, plastic, rubber connecting. So that's one thing. Number two, you should get a water bottle to keep with you. Do not drink out of cups. People put cups back. Much rather being good environmentalists, but they're spreading diseases. And lastly, do not eat. If it looks like a place that does not look professional, it's probably going to get you sick. If it doesn't meet a standard that you're used to seeing, I know it sounds hokey, but stick with like KFC and McDonald's and stuff like that.
No.
Because This guy. Yeah. Or try your own way, and then we'll wait for you outside of the bathroom.
So what's the protocol with the shoes? I mean, you where do you leave them when you go pray?
In a safe place.
Yeah, so I mean
But
that's
you're not gonna find it when you come back. So
No,
be ready for it.
No, you
In
won't.
Maharam, no.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's-
know.
We can't carry a backpack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't take it. When I
Some
come
people
back,
do take
then
a small backpack with them.
Okay.
Some people just take cheap shoes that they don't mind
Yeah,
using, like
I-
slippers and stuff like that.
Get the cheap
And also, like, if you
Good
don't
luck.
get the Crocs here, there are obviously options there that you can
They have those.
that you can buy, which are cheap as well.
Should
When he
we
says
tag
cheap,
some medication, some pill or some certain things?
In case you get sick, that,
Yeah.
right?
What kind of sickness we're talking about? Stomach virus?
I think the most common thing is probably a cold, right? From travel, your body gets weak, so I think the most common sickness is probably going to be like a cold, cough, that type of thing, or if you get sinus pressure. So just be sure to bring some of that with you because at least for me, the 2 times I've gotten sick both times. So it's very easy to get sick. I know some people who take vitamin C and stuff like that before they leave, but just be cautious because you could take too much, and that can also get you sick too, right?
Yeah.
So
So what probably a good idea is there's those little there's the ones that have the round one, and it has a mixture of vitamin C and herbs and all that kind of stuff in it. The one that will in your drink.
Yeah.
So take that with you, and every 24 hours, just take one of those. on your trip, and I think, you know, so we did that from Kuwait, and I went twice and I didn't get sick at all. So, but another thing is be careful not to drink after anyone or from any cup that you found. So.
Yeah. I think they've gotten pretty good with it, because obviously there's Zamzam water in all of the masajid. So all of the coolers that you see, they're full of Zamzam, and I think they've gotten it to a good way where when you pull the cup out, it won't allow you to put it back on top.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so you should be good from that regard. But obviously, if it's a cup that looks used,
So
don't.
the issue is just with the cups and not with the water.
Not with the water, no.
Okay, so we could take collapsible cups or something with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the cups they have should be fine. But if you prefer to bring your
Yeah,
own,
because I remember they had that documentary at UNC Charlotte, and it does look much more. I remember now. Yeah. So I think they've advanced from 2008, last time I went. 11 years.
So in Medina also you're saying Zamzam water, so
Yes.
it's together about, okay.
yeah.
But if you take a bottle with you, then that should not be a problem at all.
Yeah, you
We can
just
always
fill it
fill
No, it shouldn't be a problem. And also, if you want to bring Zamzam water with you back,
Yeah.
there's an option to do so when you get to the airport. Like as soon as the bus drops us off, there's like a station right up front. They'll ask you how many Zamzams you want. I think they limit it to one per person, but then you can get it and it won't count as like an extra bag or anything, and it'll be shipped independent, so it doesn't have to go in your bag. It's like a big thing of it, right? Yeah, it's pretty big, right?
How the weather is going to be, it's hot.
Yeah. Much harder than here.
It's the desert, inshallah.
So now you said we should, regular shoes and all on the trip is fine, but over there Crocs.
It's for I'm talking about Crocs for the Umrah.
Right.
That's what I'm talking
Crocs right
about.
there actually.
Yeah,
No, we don't need flip flops, like Crocs are actually fine, because of the,
Yeah.
no stitching or anything.
yeah. It's just anything that does not have stitching.
Stitching.
And you can get the belt as well for the Umrah. You can get a belt, you know, you can go on Amazon, they have them. But I'm just saying, because the Umrah is a very long walk, it's about 2-3 miles. I mean, unless you're gonna get on the inside, probably you're not, because you want to stay safe and spiritual, you're gonna be on the outside. It's a long ways. So you talk about 7 and then 7, it's like 2.5 miles. So that's why I'm saying get you some good Crocs. For that, not for this one, just keep some, you know, something, like you said, dispensable, and don't wear your nicest, it could be. But as long as you put it up on a high place, in a place where, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, I went 3 times now, I never lost any shoes. So, I mean, some people, I don't know, are different.
Brother Nader, how about ihram? You're providing ihram or we have to buy ours?
So ihram, we're gonna have to purchase our own ihram while we're there. Unfortunately, the package, they really made it bare bones minimum. I tried to ask to see if they could put ihrams in there, but it doesn't look like they can add ihrams to it. But ihrams aren't, it's not expensive. I think less than $20 or something like that. And so while we're in Medina, obviously we'll show you guys where to get the ihram if you don't have it, and where to get shoes if you didn't get Crocs or anything like that, inshallah. But it's very cheap. And then also that same day, after we come back from sightseeing, we're gonna go pray Dhuhr, inshallah, and then after Dhuhr, we're gonna do like a quick Umrah spiritual workshop with Imam Yahya, inshallah, between Dhuhr and Asr. And so this will kind of refresh us again for Umrah. And if we have any questions or concerns, things like that, we'll get that out of the way. Because, you know, this is still Tuesday. Wednesday is when we do our Umrah. And then we will keep you guys updated on WhatsApp of, you know, any changes, and of course continue to attend the 5 daily prayers. I think that's the end of day 3. So day 4 is when we are going to go to Mecca, inshallah, to go perform our Umrah. And so the way we have it set up, we wanted to spend the morning in Medina, have breakfast, hang out, pack your stuff, get ready. And then we will go pray Salat al-Dhuhr, and right after Salat al-Dhuhr is when we'll get on the buses, inshallah, and start heading towards Mecca. And we have it here in parentheses to also pray Asr combined. So since we are going to be embarking on a journey, right after we finish Salat al-Dhuhr, let's go ahead and pray Salat al-Asr. That way, you know, it's easier for us to travel to Mecca. The goal is, as soon as we leave from Mecca, we're going to go straight to the miqat. which is basically kind of like a checkpoint where we have to stop and essentially pick up our intention from there for Umrah, right? So we're not going to leave from the hotel in a state of ihram. We're going to, we could wear our physical ihram, but we're not going to be in the physical state of ihram until we get to the miqat, which it's not that far outside of Medina. How far would you say?
It's maybe the same as the airport, it's like 20, 30 minutes.
20, 30 minutes.
But so basically, because many people misunderstand ihram as clothing. It is not clothing. That's just the rules while in the state of ihram. Literally means a sacred state of the heart. It's an intention. That is the nature of ihram. To enter into a sacred moment of responding to God's call, to come to His, covenantal place where it all began when Abraham was first, praying with his son Ishmael in front of the house. Make from my progeny a nation of people who will submit to your will. Make from among them a prophet who will testify and who will purify them and who will show them your message and so forth. So that's where it all happened. That's why we're in this sacred, we're remembering all of that. So you can take a good shower if for whatever reason before, it's ideal to just clip all your nails and underarms and all that before you leave here. But that's fine, it's not part of the actual thing. But it's always good to just feel nice and clean and fresh. Not good, it's a mustahab, it's a recommended part of the ihram that you take a good shower before you get into your clothing. And so because we're going to go from Dhul Hulayfa to Mecca, you want to do that in the hotel before you leave. So you get in your white garments, but you don't make that state of sacred entrance into the responding to the call until you get to Dhul Hulayfa, and then you can pray a couple rak'ahs. It will be counted as the same since we'll be praying Dhuhr. So there's no need for extra rak'ahs because Dhuhr will cover that we're doing a salah at the time of going in ihram. So for the ladies, there's no actual clothes. You are as you are, and so that's basically you will enter into that state. And I will send out more details, but I just want to make sure that that's clear of what he's talking about. Yeah.
Are you going to pray as if you're traveling, or?
Yeah, we are traveling.
So we'll be praying at the.
Yeah, combination.
Okay.
There was one question from one of the sisters regarding the shoes. Do they also have to wear the Crocs, or there's no limit? There's no
It's only
restriction?
men. Only men have the rule about no stitched clothing. Humbling the men. The idea is we're being humbled. Yeah.
Do we have to wear certain type of clothes?
When you're going when you enter into the state of ihram, then at that moment you need to be only wearing the two togas, the towels, and then your shoe cannot be a stitched shoe like with stitching. It can be like the type of flip flops and things that they have.
Infused.
Yeah, the ones I found the best is the Crocs.
So we put on ihram in the hotel, but we are not making.
You didn't make intention. Yeah.
Until you reach Mecca.
Yeah. So the clothes. I mean, if you chose to wear two towels everywhere you go your whole life, it doesn't mean you're in ihram. You see what I'm saying? Ihram. The people got confused because they always see, and this is the fundamental part what we want to fix. We tend to, as a Muslim community, focus on these outward, touching the Kaaba, not really knowing what that Kaaba is and what it represents, but seeing that as like some holy. It is not a holy building. The actual rocks are just rocks. They have no value. It's what it represents and who built it. What it means for us as a ummah. So you can touch it all you want, it will do nothing for you. You see what I'm saying? But we have millions and millions of people with the totally wrong idea. And it's because they're seeing like, okay, the ihram is these clothes, because I see people wearing them. But there's a reason why you wear those clothes, and it has to do with the state of heart that you're in, humbling yourself, becoming an equal with your brothers in faith. Sorry. I'm a little bit passionate about this because I feel like as an ummah, we have a lot of work to do. Inshallah.
So the trip from Medina to our hotel in Mecca, estimating it about 7 hours, but it could be quicker. And the only reason, and if you look at it on GPS, it's only like a 5-hour journey. But because we're going to be stopping at the miqat, and then we're also going to make another pit stop, we can't just go straight. So you're easily adding 2 hours right there. So I'm going to estimate about 7-8 hours. So we'll get to Mecca right around, maybe right after Isha time. there. And I actually think it's easier to do Umrah at that time, easier than it is during the day because it's a lot more crowded, so.
It's cooler.
And cooler,
Ideal.
yeah.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with taking another shower when you get, so for the men particularly, maybe for the ladies, but for us, in that thing with the white togas on, you know, you might want to go and take a small shower. Now the only rule about that is you need to make sure that you're using a type of soap that does not have the fragrance on it, right? And so but there are some scholars that said this fragrance in a soap is not itr, and the Prophet was prohibiting the actual, you know, those liquid. That's how it was in the time of the Prophet. They would have these little containers with the itr in it. So they're saying when you wash with soap, many great scholars have said, even Sheikh bin Baz himself, you know, one of the great hardline Salafi Saudi scholars, he said that doesn't count as pleat. But for me, they always give you in the hotel, particularly in Saudi, they give you the one that's the blend. And so that's just going to clean you off, refresh, and now we can go make, because and then you might also want to bring some Vaseline, for the men particularly, put in between the legs. Otherwise, it is going to burn for the rest of your time in Mecca. Okay?
Pro tip.
Yeah. But no, I've made the mistake that, yeah.
So, okay, maybe, I don't know if you'll talk about that. So when you put the physical ihram on, so it's like you don't wear any
Nothing.
underneath?
No.
Like no underwear, shorts?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Everybody mind their own business. Yeah.
So when you said the belt, and you have like a fanny pack or something to hold?
They have one that's made that what it is it's a buckle thing. So
Okay. Yeah, the ihram come with, some of those ihrams come with those belts that
And it
have
has a little
pocket for a
patch
phone
in
and
it.
stuff. And
Yeah, you can put a phone and some.
But those are stitched too.
No, the way they made it is, they're known, they're acceptable. You can wear those, you know, they have those types. And actually, some scholars have noted that that's not actually clothing. That some scholars they justify it and they said it's not actually clothing you're wearing. It's just something that you're carrying. Wow. So it's actually because they were saying back then people would have things they'd be carrying, but so like the shoes and the toga, those are clothes. You see what I'm saying? So the thing that you have around here is not technically clothes. So that's where they said with that. Yeah, so basically, you know, you go there and they'll have nice thick ones. You know, you're going to get that. You know, when you get there, you're going to have, one side open. And then you'll put it up. And then once you cut off the hair, inshallah. That's another thing. We'll finish. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. I think we probably just need a deep session in of itself on the whole Umrah intent, right?
And by the way, I'm trying to set up Sheikh Hasib Noor. I just talked to him. And he said he's in town. He said, let me figure out. Have you heard of Sheikh Hasib Noor? Oh, mashallah. He's one of the up and coming. He's like your next Omar Suleiman. Wallah, he's beautiful. Amazing scholar. He's been in Medina now 6 years. He's finishing his master's. So, amazing guy, very laid back, me and him think a similar way. So, if that helps. But yeah, we're going to bring him to give us a couple talks, inshallah.
Yeah, bring him on the tour of Medina. He's
Yeah.
really good with that.
That's my main goal. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
trying to lock it down.
So in Mecca, our hotel is going to be Hilton Convention Hotel. Again, it's one of those hotels right around the perimeter of the Haram, so we can walk to the Haram in a matter of minutes. We're going to arrive there, unload the bus, like Imam said, maybe go upstairs, freshen up real quick, come back down. We'll all meet in the lobby and we'll head to the Haram together, inshallah. And then we're going to go perform Umrah. Obviously, Imam's going to take us through a more detailed analysis of what Umrah is, step by step, and all that good stuff. But this is the part of our entire trip where we're going to be doing Umrah. Total, it's probably going to last, maybe a matter of hours, 3 to 5 hours, depending on, how crowded it is. And so, once we finish our Umrah, then we're going to go do, for the brothers, we're going to shave or cut our hair. Sisters, you're going to snip, I think a strand of your hair, and I think, again, Imam's going to talk details about about that. And that will be the end of our Umrah. And so that will also probably be the end of our Wednesday night, because we had a long day of traveling. We'll probably go back to the hotel and rest up to get ready for day 5. Day 5 is a Thursday. I was gonna schedule for us to go sightseeing on this day, but I figured everybody might be tired from staying up late, maybe doing Ramadan the night before. So we'll kind of give this as like a free, relaxed day on Thursday. Obviously try to catch every salah that you can in the haram. And of course there are tons of things all around the haram. Stores, food, you know, you name it, even Starbucks. If you guys are to Starbucks, there are Starbucks in both harams. Not in the haram, right outside, yeah.
No, they got it. This is the Zamzam Starbucks. Only coffee.
So we're not doing any group activities or anything like that?
Well, you know, that's what I put on there. You can do another Umrah, but the only thing is you go to Masjid Aisha. It's just right on the, you just go on the outside of Mecca. It's like literally 15-minute drive. And then you from the hotel, you get in your clothes and everything. You go outside, you come back and you knock out another one.
Inshallah.
Why not?
Yeah. Inshallah.
Or maybe in the night, Thursday night.
Because that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you probably want to get you've probably been way under sleep, like he said. So Wednesday, you want to probably get a good sleep, and then, you know, perhaps after Fajr, when you come back, take a good qaylula nap there, the siesta. And then, you know, it's all the dhuhr and all the way through, and then we might, after Isha, go and it's up to you. We'll take a, you know, whoever wants to can, as nobody, by the way, anything we're suggesting is just a suggestion. There's no MCC, Muraqaba, police, Amr al-Ma'roof, the batons and all that.
But we can make a, like, you know, if anyone wants to go, we can decide that and inshallah make a second Umrah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, like Imam said, all of this stuff is optional. If you want to be a part of the big group, you can. Obviously, just don't miss the bus rides from Medina to Mecca and from Mecca to the airport. But you are free to do, you know, what you want. Like Imam said, this is kind of like a little mini vacation for all of us, inshallah. And then day 6 is going to be Friday. April the 19th, and so we are going to, inshallah, get the ability to pray Jum'ah in Masjid al-Haram. So again, even Jum'ah, that prayer is going to be multiplied by 100,000. I'm not 100% sure on if they still have it, but I think there's like audio headphones. You can kind of listen to a translation of the khutbah. Huh?
Yeah, I think they have that.
They have that, right? Because obviously the khutbahs are going to be Arabic. They're not going to speak English or anything like that. So Arabic speakers.
You didn't know they were going to let me give the khutbah, huh? And then I become the can go meet Abdullah ibn Zubair in Jannah, inshallah. Yeah, but if you want, what we could do is, because I'm not guaranteeing this translation, because actually the way it works, just so you know, the Ministry of Original Religious Affairs over there, they write a khutbah, and then they send it, and then the guy reads it off of the paper. That's how all of them work over there. Nobody's allowed to be original or spiritual or uplifting. It's just we read the rules and the things. So what I was thinking is, if we can find a place, maybe in the basement somewhere, you know, or some area, and then we can go off, and then I can just kind of, you know, give a translation, you know, while that's happening. And then, because actually, two things. Number one, you need to understand what you're hearing, otherwise there's no purpose in you being there from an Islamic legal perspective. Number two, we are technically travelers, and so it's not an obligation on me or something like I'll be doing something wrong by talking during the khutbah. So that's just a way to try to make it of most benefit.
I mean, they have done a lot of things. I was looking at some videos of the speaker systems and stuff they have there. You know, they are fail safe. There's a lot of things they've done. So I'm sure that you can probably even listen to a translation on your phone potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
It might be possible to explore.
Yeah. Inshallah, we'll
Yeah, from that last documentary we saw, it seems like they've upped the ante a lot on what they're doing.
One of the big things for Jum'ah is it does fill up. So think about people even who are locals there. They're going to try to fill up early. Some people stay there from Fajr. So the earlier you can get there, the better. The Haram obviously it's been expanded, and then it also has like I think a location right outside of it, kind of like an overflow area. And it's all connected at the end of the day. You'll still hear it anywhere. But I think it'll definitely be a nice experience to be able to attend Jum'ah inside where all the action is. So the recommendation is to try to get there early, maybe have breakfast, and then just go do ibadah for the morning, and then we can decide on a place where we'll meet for Jum'ah, inshallah, when we're in there. Saturday is going to be the day, inshallah, that we're going to go sightseeing in Mecca. Some of the Again, we're also gonna go at 8:30 a.m. Some of the places that we're gonna go to are the mountain of Hira, where the Prophet ﷺ first got revelation. So we're gonna go see that. We're also gonna try to go see the home of the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. And then we're also gonna go see prominent Hajj sites such as Arafah, Jamarat, and the Mina camps. You know, for those of us that haven't been to Hajj, and even for those that have been to Hajj, so you can see what it looks like without people, right? And then also, it's obviously optional, but I think it is recommended to do a farewell tawaf.
Yeah, the Prophet mentioned, you know, you should do it before you leave. Ibn Hazm said it's obligation.
Really?
Yeah. But the majority of position is it's just, you know, a recommended thing that you would do leaving, that you would make the 7 circuits.
So the tawaf has to be done in Ihram?
No.
No, that's tawaf is outside. You can do tawaf anytime. Yeah.
So another thing with tawaf, I'm sure we'll get into the details, but it's technically tahiyyat al-masjid. For Masjid al-Haram, it's the tawaf, the 7, right?
Yeah.
So you know how you come to a masjid, you pray 2 rak'ahs? When you go to the Haram, you don't pray 2 rak'ahs, you do tawaf 7 times.
Exactly.
Right? So this farewell tawaf is just doing 7 before you leave Mecca, inshallah. And obviously this won't be the last time we speak about this stuff, right? This is just kind of high level. I know you guys have probably tons of questions. And then this is our last day, day 8, which is technically Saturday night, is when we're going to depart from the hotel to the airport. And the goal is to leave at 12 a.m. So, you know, try to rest up throughout the day, Saturday, and try to get your mind acclimated to the U.S. time, because technically, you know, it's different. And so we're going to leave, inshallah, 12 midnight to be at the airport by 2. And our flight, inshallah, is going to be at 6 a.m. One of the expectations that we want to set beforehand, where is it? Is the Jeddah airport is not like the U.S. airports. It is not as fancy, it may not be as clean or as professional. So one of the pro tips that we have is to not lose your Umrah at the airport. You know, just kind of have sabr, have patience as we proceed through the security and get our bags in and make our way to the terminal, inshallah. And with that, that's all I had for our 8 days there. So any questions on anything I've covered so far?
So I saw, like, you had mentioned the Saudi Riyal a few times there. When we land, are we gonna do like some money exchange over there before we leave the airport?
Yeah. So when we land, I haven't been to the Medina airport yet, but we're going to be landing in the Riyadh airport, and I think we definitely have to change money in order to buy food and stuff like that while we're there.
They should have ATMs, right?
So
They should have ATMs.
They should have ATMs, but they should also have money services.
Yeah, money services are usually not.
So we heard like they accept even dollars, right?
So for like tips, they'll accept dollars, but for like buying food and stuff like that, I don't think so.
I think Munir's right. If you were just to go ahead and just decide what you generally want to use while you're there, and then just pull it out of the ATM one shot, then whatever that's going to cost you is probably going to be less than the money exchange, because that's a business.
But our cards should work there, right?
The credit cards?
Credit cards should.
At places that accept it, yeah. And of course, you have to set a travel alert on your card so it doesn't get flagged as fraud.
Yeah, and some places don't. Like there's places that might not. Like if you want to go get some good attar, you know, sometimes you might find a really good deal at a place that isn't like the Qurashi, you know, which is high quality, and you can. So it's just up to you if you decide. And some of the restaurants might not be taking. I don't know.
So is there a recommendation of like how many, like, should at least have $100, 200? I'm just throwing a number. I don't know. Is there like a?
I don't know your spending habits.
Well, I mean,
100 will work for me.
Well, for the other things, like for food and other things you're talking about, like what's the minimum amount we should have? I guess that's the question.
Food is really cheap there. Again, you get $1 equates to like 3 something riyals over there, and you can get like a good meal, 5 to 10 riyals. That's a tricky question because I'm sure you're gonna want to buy dates, you're gonna want to buy maybe clothing and things like that. So I would take just a couple $100 maybe, and you know the more you want, you know just feel free to take as much as you want. So any last thoughts?
What is the deal about restrooms over there? Restrooms?
They don't have restrooms. You have to hold it. Just kidding. No,
Hotels.
Because I
that's
see,
for-
mashallah, a lot of kids, so that's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, there's restrooms, and they're actually really nice restrooms.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty clean. It's like a nice, it's like below the ground for I think both harams. So there's plenty of bathrooms. The only thing I would caution you with is when we're in Mecca, if it's very crowded, they won't allow people to come back in, and the bathrooms are outside. So when we're in Mecca, like especially for Jum'ah, if you have to leave the masjid area to go, to the bathroom and stuff like that, it's going to be hard to come back in. You're going to have to go to the overflow area or something like that. So there it's a little bit trickier, but that's probably just for Jum'ah prayer that we're going to struggle like that. But all the other times, you step out of the haram, you go to the bathroom and come back in.
Yeah, so that's the point. On Jumu'ah, you want to make sure you have used the bathroom before you go in there and that you're not drinking too much. But you should drink a lot of water while you're there. And Zamzam has a special blessing to it. Be careful because for during Jumu'ah you will get detached. I left once and then I couldn't get back in. And they wouldn't let me, man. This is full. So then I was like looking for my wife and my 9-month-old son. You learn these things. So we'll pray Isha and then we'll come back and we have some things I guess some people have brought. Inshallah.